Good Yontiv. I don't think it's very loud. Hey, Alvin. I was going to do something. I think something's off. How you doing? So, something just happened to it, huh? You hear my mic? Yeah? I can always do that for you. But no one can hear me right now, and I'm on. I actually turned it on. I'm a little concerned right now. That's a good omen. Test, 1, 2, test. That is not loud. Test, 1, 2, test, 1, 2. Yeah. My light on? We're going to have fun. I feel it. I feel it. Testing, 1, 2. Alvin, how are we doing, Alvin? Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing. Yeah, I tested. Oh, there we go. Good Yontiv. Shana Tova. You know what? It's so nice to be with family right now. This is exactly what we need, don't you think? It really is what we need. And take a look at this bima. Now, what I love about this bima is each year you come here, something different has changed. Because life is a process. So take a look. This is our new table here. Thank you, Uri Gottfeld, for overseeing this and for setting all this up. And take a look at our new Ner Talmid. Isn't that stunning? That you should recognize it because it's similar to the one we have at synagogue, because Sherman Zell wanted to make sure we had one here that duplicated the one we have at home. And I think it's very thoughtful of Sherman Zell. So thank you, Sherman Zell. That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I love the fact that we are experiencing a holiday that's about process. It's not about this, you get to the end of the line and you're done, right? And everything about this society is about getting to that goal, getting to that last thing. Now, I'm not bragging. I just wanted to tell you some facts. But my Dodger team, come on, give me a little love. Hold on, you may be surprised. By the way, Kershaw took his hat off to Bochy today after he was done for one inning to warm up. And I thought that was very sweet, because deep down inside, they all really appreciate each other, because that's what it's about. But I bring it up because this year, the Dodgers have won more games than any other team in their history, either Brooklyn or Los Angeles, 106. They've won the division 7 years in a row. They had more home runs than any team has ever done as a Dodger team. And you know what? If they don't win the World Series, it'll be viewed as a failed year. And that's a problem. That's the problem with our society. We've been like in it for 7 years straight. Okay, we've won a World Series, and we want one. But it's pretty exciting that at least the team is there and playing. And that's what it's about. If we always focus on the end of the line, we're not going to enjoy the process. So the end of the line is not Yom Kippur for us. There's no end of the line. We begin on Rosh HaShanah, this process of teshuvah, returning to our right path. That's what tonight's all about. We begin this process. You with me? No. All right, let's go on, because who said no? Kendra, I took care of it for you.
Thank you.
No, I got to read something, huh? I think we did enough. Let's do that song. That's enough. We continue with S-I-N-I on page 11 or on your handbook. Page 8. Yes. Or page 11 in your songbook. No? Oh, well, never mind page 8.
All right. We continue at the top of page 11. The first mitzvah in the Torah is, let there be light. So we are commanded, in everything you do, be a menorah, a bringer of light.
Live with honor, act with integrity, do your work with passion, and the radiance of your deeds will live after you. May our ideals burn bright, forever unextinguished, and may we live our lives like the flames we kindle, always stretching upward, striving for the good, reaching for you.
We continue with the lighting of the Yom Tov candles. Wow, she's quick. I'd like to invite Michelle Kasanovich, who is our Volunteer of the Year and who's done an incredible job with our 2020 Vision architectural plans. You are amazing. So thank you so much for all the work you do for our synagogue in so many ways. And of course, being a great wife and mommy is probably the best work you do. Well done. I got that one for you. You want to do this first? Because you're a professional, you know this.
Asher Kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Yom Tov. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on this festival. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, giving us life, upholding this life within us, and bringing us to this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Now that we've welcomed this Yom Tov, I invite you to welcome the person next to you, wish them a good Yontiv. Those of you who are joining us via the internet, we welcome you as well to our service. We continue on page 15 as we all rise. Page 15.
Thank you.
our feast day, sound the shofar, for that is the law of Israel, the way of the God of Jacob. Yehalalu b'teka shofar, praise God with the blast of the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol t'ru'at amo Yisrael b'rachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel.
Tekiah.
We continue on page 16. Here I am, one soul within this prayer community. Like those around me, I bring my own concerns and yearnings to this place, hoping they will find expression in the time-hallowed words of my people and in the traditions cherished by generations before me. May I bring the best of my energies to these high holy days, approaching the spiritual work with open heart and mind, sincerity, and sustained focus on the deep questions of the season. Who am I? How shall I live? Where have I fallen short or failed? This night I take up the challenge of the days of awe, cheshbon hanefesh, a searching examination of my life, a moral inventory of my deeds, words, and thoughts. During the next 10 days, let me face the truth about myself and listen to your still, small voice. Taking comfort in your promise that I am always free to change, released from staleness and routine, let me know the joy of beginning again. May I gain strength as I share this task with those around me, united by our common purpose, tikkun midot and tikkun olam. I now prepare myself to pray, one soul amidst this holy congregation.
הנני העני ממעש, ונרסת ונפחדת מפחד, יושב תהילות ישראל. באתי לעמוד ולחנן לפניך, על עמך ישראל אשר שלחוני. אף על פי שאיני כדאית והגונה לכך, על כן אבקשך. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון אהיה אשר אהיה. שתבוא תפילתי לפני כיסא כבודך. בעבור כל הצדיקים והחסידים התמימים והישרים, ובעבור כבוד שמך הגדול והנורא, כי אתה שומע תפילת עמך ישראל ברחמים. ברוך אתה שומע תפילה.
Page 19. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, yehi ratzon shenizker levirchotecha bishnat 5,780. Our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessings in the year 5,780. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of life. Page 20. We continue with Baruch Hu. continue on page 22.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher vivmaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma potea sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umahalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mish reotechem barakia kirtsono, bore yom v'laila, golel or mipnei choshe, bechoshe mipnei or, Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai Sevaot Shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid imloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Bless Adonai who spins day into dusk. With wisdom watch the dawn gates open. With understanding let time and seasons come and go. With awe perceive the stars in lawful orbit. Morning dawns, evening darkens, darkness and light yielding one to the other, yet each distinguished and unique. Marvel at life, strive to know its ways, seek wisdom and truth, the gateways of life's mysteries. Wondrous indeed is the evening twilight.
Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Israel. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love. Baruch atah Adonai ohev omo Yisrael.
so nice having our muzzle tones with us. That's what we call them, our muzzle tones. We continue on pages 26 and 27. I invite us all to take a deep breath in. Don't forget to breathe out. Another deep cleansing breath in. And exhaling out. And one more for good measure. We continue on pages 28 and page 30 for Ve'ahavta, so you'll have to split between those two pages in the Hebrew, and then we'll do the English on page 28.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. You shall love Adonai your God with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. Thus you will become holy to your God. I, Adonai, am your God, who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I, Adonai, your God.
We continue responsively on page 33. To break the bonds of anger, to be generous of heart. To break the bonds of envy, to serve one another in joy. To break the bonds of boredom, to be attentive to all God's guests. To break the bonds of fear, to live with courage and strength. To untie the knots of betrayal, to love with the fullness of being. To break the bonds of loneliness, to receive a hand of hope. To break the bonds of self-centeredness, to extend a hand of help. Released from the darkness, our people found their freedom at the sea, and we pray for liberation at at the dawning of this. Page 34.
מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקר יום לפני משה ומרים. זה לי ענו ויאמרו ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We continue on page 41. I invite you to read this prayer silently. We continue now on page 42 as we rise for our tefillah.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם ארוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מחבל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני. ברוך הוא וברוך שמו. בחיי הכל.
Page 49, on the top of the page, Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yalucha selah. You are holy, your name is holy. Seekers of holiness praise you day by day, selah. Please be seated. We continue in the middle of page 54. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of all the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered. For safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace, on this day of remembrance. Zachrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova,
Amen.
ufoktenu vo livracha,
Amen.
v'hoshenu vo lechayim.
Amen.
Eternal our God, remember us,
Amen.
be mindful of us,
Amen.
and redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
We continue on page 60.
Israel.
We continue on page 63. In the name of the daybreak and the eyelids of morning, and the wayfaring moon, and the night when it departs, I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred, but offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature, as a healer of misery, as a messenger of wonder, as an architect of peace. In the name of the sun and its mirrors, and the day that embraces it, and the cloud veils drawn over it, and the uttermost night, and the male and the female, and the plants bursting with seed, and the crowning seasons of the firefly and the apple, I will honor all life, wherever and in whatever form it may dwell, on earth my home, and in the mansions of the stars. Page 66.
Take a moment now for silent prayer. Feel free to read one of the readings on the next few pages or to speak the words in your own heart.
continue responsively on page 75. Your part is the indented sentences. We have forgotten Avinu Malkeinu. And we have no great liking for absolute power. Akiva stood before you in a time of drought, and his words went up like a flame on the altar. He was humble and forgiving, so his prayer was answered. Tonight we speak again in a time of drought. Dry ground beneath us, no water, only rock. For the sea of faith is all but gone. The tide's gone out of the empty beach. The world mocks our hopes and life tests our courage. And if your dominion is kindness and justice, why is creation in so much pain? Avinu Malkeinu, sustain our souls. Send rain to our roots. Help us find a way to pray. Avinu Malkeinu, renew these words. Help us speak them with conviction and believe their truth. For 100 generations have stood before the ark, and they lifted up their voices like flame on the altar. And they put their trust in kindness and justice, and they gave their strength to make the promise real. We continue as we turn to page 76 and read together the words of Avinu Malkeinu in English. I invite you to please rise. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, you alone are our sovereign. Together, Avinu Malkeinu, for your sake, show us mercy. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, bring healing and wholeness to the ill among us. Avinu Malkeinu, allay the harshness of the decree against us. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption and renewal. Avinu Malkeinu, remember our goodness and call it to mind. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and save us. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through our acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chambul aleinu, Ve'alol aleinu, Ve'tapeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Erev
It is wild to imagine that this is my 21st High Holidays with you. That means I have delivered, over 100 High Holiday sermons for you. And I've yet to repeat a sermon that I can think of or that I can remember. I'm lucky that the old line that each rabbi only has one sermon has not been the case for me. I have at least two. But sermons, are really dependent on new experiences. And this year I was very blessed to have the opportunity for sabbatical time in which I was able to have new experiences. Since the sabbatical needed to be broken up over time, I had a segment in December, this summer, and a little more is coming at the end of the year. This summer, for example, I had significant time to focus on family, from building my soon-to-be grandchild's crib in my daughter's and son-in-law's new home to jet skiing with my son on his 21st birthday, to processing time with my wife as we strengthen our communication with each other. This time has been so important for me and my family. And I've spent a lot of time reflecting on how in less than a month and a half, I'll be a grandfather, a papa. Crazy. Am I old enough? Oh, yeah. Watching one's daughter going through pregnancy is one of the most incredible things I have ever experienced in my life. And from an emotional level, there's so much going on. Those of you who have become grandparents, and we have some professional grandparents in the house, you know how emotional it is. This summer, I've spent a long time thinking about this change. My role as papa, I'm not concerned with, actually. It feels kind of natural to me. What I have focused on is how this change will impact my relationship with my daughter. The answer is, I don't know. But I think the secret lies in looking at what is most important. This may come shocking to you, but giving my opinion, as you know, comes very naturally to me. And there are times I do need to say something, but not every time, and even not most of the time. My role is to be a big ear, to be the best listener I can be. That is what my daughter has always needed, and that is exactly what she will need moving into her next chapter of life. Truth be told, listening is something we all need to do, a lot more often. It feels like we care more about saying how we feel or focusing on what is on our mind than listening to another's opinion. That is why the earlier part of my sabbatical last December was so very important. You see, I spent the month working with my interfaith partner, Father John Pettico at Catholic Charities. I was able to work with a small think tank about the future of Catholic Charities, which was really neat to be part of. But the real work with Father John was going into East San Jose during a very holy month for Catholics. Father John serves these communities, which are Hispanic, new immigrants, those without papers, indigenous people who can trace their American lineage farther back than most of us and others. He would do the Mass, I would say something that he would translate, but my real task was to just observe and listen, to take it all in, to just be with this community. And it was magnificent. I have some great video, from Native American fire dancing to incredible drumming rituals. It was wonderful to see these people celebrating not just their religious identity, but their cultural identity as well. It was so cool to take it in and be a part of it. I was overwhelmed by their hospitality and how they welcomed me with open arms and loving energy. And after the fifth one of these, I felt so comfortable and at home. I did not usually understand the language, but I understood the feeling and I understood the intention. That experience was about observing and listening. I asked questions, I listened to stories and thoughtful convictions, and the impact it has had on me, I'm still contemplating to this day. After that experience, I've tried to listen a lot more, for I recognize that much of our society seems focused on telling others how we feel and trying to convince them that they should have the same feeling. To state the obvious, we are living in divisive times, and I needed to recognize how it has impacted me and how judgmental things have really become. It feels like no one is listening to anyone. That we care more about expressing our point of view and then trying to convince another that our point of view is correct and theirs is wrong. You know what our society needs? It needs a Talmudic lesson. Well, I got a Talmudic lesson. The legendary Talmudic duel of Hillel and Shammai, who were first century Tanas or teachers, have a classic argument about the famous Korach rebellion found in the Torah. To give you a little background on the story, Korach and his fellow rebels accused Moses of nepotism, of failure, and above all, of being a fraud, of attributing to God decisions and laws that Moses had devised for his own benefit. So grave was the attack that it became for the sages a paradigm of the worst kind of disagreement. As it states in Mishnah Avot, which is an argument for the sake of heaven, the argument between Hillel and Shammai, which is an argument not for the sake of heaven, the argument of Korach and his company. The Korach rebellion was not just the worst of the revolts from the wilderness years, it was also different because it was a direct assault on Moses and Aaron. Commentator Menachem Meiri from Catalonia, 13th century, explains this teaching in the following terms, quote, in their debates, one of them would render a decision and the other would argue against it, out of a desire to discover the truth, not out of cantankerousness or a wish to prevail over his fellow. An argument not for the sake of heaven was that of Korach and his company, for they came to undermine Moses and his position out of envy and contentiousness and ambition for victory. The sages were drawing a fundamental distinction between two types of conflicts: argument for the sake of truth and argument for the sake of victory. It was not that they wanted a community without leaders, it is rather that they wanted to be the leaders. The rebels' rhetoric had nothing to do with the pursuit of truth and everything to do with the pursuit of honor, status, and as they saw it, power. They wanted not to learn, but to win. They sought not fact, but victory. We can trace the impact of this in terms of the sequence of events that followed. First, Moses proposed a simple test. Let the rebels bring an offering of incense the next day, and God would show whether God accepted or rejected their offering. Since what was at issue was what God wanted, let God decide. No. It was a controlled experiment, an empirical test. God would let the people know in an unambiguous way who was right. It would establish once and for all the truth. But Moses did not stop there, as he would have done if truth were the only issue involved. Moses tried to argue Korach out of his dissent, not by addressing his argument, but by speaking to the resentment that lay behind his argument. He told him that he had been given a position of honor. He may not have been a priest, but he was a Levite, and the Levites had a special sacred status not shared by other tribes. He was telling him to be satisfied with the honor he had and not let ambition overreach itself. There's so much more I could say about this. But the bottom line is that the entire episode teaches the destructive nature of argument not for the sake of heaven, but for the sake of victory. In such a conflict, what is at stake is not truth, but power. And the result is that both sides suffer. If you win, I lose. But if I win, I also lose, because in diminishing you, I'm diminishing myself. Argument for the sake of power is a lose-lose scenario. The opposite is the case when the argument is for the sake of truth. If I win, I win. But if I lose, I also win, because being defeated by the truth is the only form of defeat that is also a victory. In a famous passage, the Talmud explains why Jewish law tends to follow the view of the school of Hillel rather than the school of Shammai. Quote, because they were kind and modest, because they studied not only their own rulings, but also those of the school of Shammai, because they taught the words of the school of Shammai before their own. You see, they sought truth, not victory. That is why they listened to the views of their opponents, and indeed taught them before they taught their own traditions. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, a professor at NYU, states, Judaism has sometimes been called a culture of argument. It is the only religious literature known to me whose key texts, the Hebrew Bible, Midrash, Mishnah, Talmud, the codes of Jewish law, and the compendia of biblical interpretation are all anthologies of arguments. That is the glory of Judaism. The divine presence is to be found not in this voice against that, but in the totality of the conversation. In an argument for the sake of truth, both sides win, for each is willing to listen to the view of its opponents and is thereby enlarged. In an argument as the collaborative pursuit of truth, the participants use reason, logic, shared text, and shared reverence for texts. They do not use ad hominem arguments, abuse, contempt, or disingenuous appeals to emotion. Each is willing, if refuted, to say, I was wrong. There is no triumphalism in victory, no anger or anguish in defeat. The story of Korach remains the classic example of how argument can be dishonored. The schools of Hillel and Shammai remind us that there is another way. Argument for the sake of heaven is one of Judaism's noblest ideals. Conflict resolution by honoring both sides and employing humility in the pursuit of truth. The Talmud teaches that it is not just about right and wrong, it is about process and how we get to our conclusions. The word fact has taken a beating in our society, but that type of manipulation is not part of the Talmudic method. The Talmudic argument, which is the foundation of American law, teaches us that we need to hear all points of view before making a decision. It feels like people start with the decision and work backwards in how they rationalize its validity. I think if we start with information, see where that leads, that would work a lot better, don't you think? This us and them attitude is getting harder and harder to deal with, isn't it? We have lost nuance in our conversations, and we forgot that part of our human condition is learning new things. How can we learn if we are too busy convincing people of our point of view? Our tradition teaches us that we need to listen to every point of view, and if we want to ease the pain many of us are feeling about the current state of public discourse, then I encourage you to join me in becoming a better listener and learner. That means in our community, with our friends, our temple family, our neighborhoods, and in our families. Those who can adjust their roles, be it in family or professionally, are in for deeper and more meaningful relationships. I've adjusted my parenting to my nearly 30-year-old daughter who's becoming a mother herself. My role is new. I've had some practice thanks to Cantor's and Ted's glorious Evie. I've watched my parents, my brother in that role. I've observed so many of you who are expert grandparents, and I've spent time listening to those who've shared their grandparent wisdom. I've asked questions, taken mental notes, because I want to be the best papa and dad I can be. So I listen, I observe, and I ask questions. Should this not be our way of being most of the time with each other and with everyone? Can you imagine if we asked questions instead of assuming? Can you imagine if we, with intention, tried to understand a different point of view? Can you imagine if we leaned into a conversation, even if the other person's saying something we don't want to hear or don't like it? My role as your rabbi is not to placate you. It's not to say things you want to hear, as fun as that is. My role is to challenge you as well as myself. My role is to make us think through together issues. And the purpose of this sermon, or any sermon, is to get us to talk with each other about a topic. Of course, we talk about if we liked it or not, but that really is not the point, or what is important. What is important are the conversations we are having. Putting ourselves out of our comfort zone and challenging our perceptions about people and topics is one of the greatest ways we can all grow. I thought I knew East San Jose. Oh, I did not. And even after being there in intimate ways, I have more to learn. This year, let us be dedicated to hearing the points of views of others. Let us lean into each other as we strengthen ourselves, our families, and our communities by re-engaging in real conversations. Let us thwart our society's trend to be divisive and grayless, for everything is gray. And yet, as we enter these high holy days, I recognize that while we are living in these divisive times, we need a sense of connectedness, to feel a certain unity. One of my favorite elements of our tradition is that sense of oneness and connection that we have the opportunity to experience every time we are together. We just have to show up. For these are challenging times, my friends, but if we come together in unity and act with a sense of oneness, we can shake off that divisiveness and embrace the natural unity in our world. Amen.
Here
Shana Tova. I'm Steve Crandell, and I'm glad we're all here together as members and friends of the Temple Emanu-El community. Normally at this point at Rosh HaShanah, we hear from our temple president. I assure you, this is not a coup. I am not declaring myself president, and I don't know anybody from Ukraine. So what am I here for? I'm here to talk about the future. By now, most of you have heard about our 2020 Vision Project. Our facility has changed little in the last 60 years. While we do understand that it's what is on the inside that counts, we can all recognize that our exterior has been neglected for quite a while. With Larry Fox, Andrew Weinberg, and me as co-chairs, this project will create for our community a temple campus that will be vibrant, inviting, flexible, and secure. We have a wonderful congregation of warm and devoted families, and the objective of 2020 Vision is to provide a place for them to thrive far into the future. This exciting, wide-ranging effort will affect the face and feel of the temple campus while maintaining and paying homage to the classic design of the sanctuary building we all love. Additionally, we're ideally located to capitalize on the vast technology expansion coming to downtown San Jose, with companies like Adobe and Google leading the way. These expansions are already attracting young professionals and their families to both downtown and surrounding neighborhoods. Willow Glen, the Rose Garden, and our own College Park are now hotspots for these families. Our synagogue and community will work their magic once we get people in there. To attract these families, we need to first present an attractive, welcoming, and secure campus. I want to talk to you about how I got involved with this project. Temple Emanu-El has been part of my family since 1957. My parents were married here by Rabbi Gittin. I became a bar mitzvah in 1975. I joined on my own in 1984 after college and ultimately raised my family here. I've been here for 7 rabbis. I've seen it all, the ups and downs, the lefts and rights of temple life and our community. It's been quite a ride. I served as temple treasurer 7 times, including while each of my parents was president. That was an experience. Needless to say, temple has been my Jewish home. It supported me through my individual and family life cycle events and where I've found my Jewish community. At my first meeting after joining the committee, Andrew Weinberg was showing Doris Davis, a longtime member and early project advisor, the latest drawings and getting her input on how we should raise the funds. I was astounded by the design and the vision. I was equally impressed by Andrew's chutzpah in even suggesting we could do this project. I called my sister Lori on the way home, and we decided right there that we needed to be involved in this project in a big way. Our parents, Ruth and Bob Crandell, were dedicated and deeply involved members of the temple for many years, with my dad as president 3 times and my mother once, among many, many other roles. It was completely clear to us that we needed to do this to pay tribute to them. If you knew my parents at all, you knew they would have wanted to be part of this project. Of course, if you knew my mom, you knew that the sanctuary seating would have been right at the top of her list. Further, had my mom been involved with this project, I wouldn't be standing here now asking for more people to participate in the project. We would have met our goal already. Let's just say she was pretty persuasive. For most of us, the normal cadence for temple giving is pretty consistent. Each year we pay our dues and contribute to the annual campaign. Although we're not going to talk much about the annual campaign this year, it is still a very important item. The annual campaign is an integral part of the temple budget. It basically keeps the lights on and pays the salaries of our incredible staff. If you have participated in the past, it's very important that you continue that this year. But this is a special year, and we all need to do something different, something special for temple. We all need to be looking to the future and consider a gift to the 2020 Vision Project. To date, every member of the Temple Board of Trustees and clergy has endorsed this project with a financial pledge. Our goal is for 100% participation of the Temple community, and we hope that all of you will look to the future and consider a gift to this wonderful project that is meaningful for you. If you're a young family, think about what Temple Emanu-El will mean to your future. Wouldn't it be great if you had to have a beautiful facility where you can celebrate life cycle events? If you've been a long-time member, remember what the temple has meant to you over the years. You experienced so many different life cycle events with your family and friends. Think about how you can play a role in giving that same sort of experience to your grandchildren and great-grandchildren and other new members of our congregation. This is a most important and impactful project for the temple. It will prepare our facility for the next 50 years and more and transform Temple Emanu-El into the attractive and secure synagogue of choice for many Jewish families in our nearby communities. 2020 Vision is a $2.6 million undertaking towards which we have already raised just over $2.3 million from just 75 gifts. We have just $300,000 to go. This is not a small number, but the committee is certain that with your help we can achieve this goal. If everyone gets involved at a level that is meaningful and significant to them, we'll get there. We will all then have a part in the future of Temple Emanu-El, our home. That's what community is all about. Together, our commitment will have an impact on our congregation for generations to come. To that end, 3 dedicated temple families have presented the congregation with a unique challenge. They will match up to $75,000 total, dollar for all gifts made to the 2020 Vision Project between this moment and the end of Yom Kippur. Who are these families? Their names aren't important, but you'll know them. They're just like any of us. One family has been with the temple for over 70 years, another for over 20, and a third for just 5. They all have or have had children in the religious school. One's even had grandchildren go through. They've been on the temple board and committees, helped at events, and so on. Believe me, I guarantee any of you knows at least one of them. The message is simple. Even with their different histories with the temple, they all see 2020 Vision as the bright future for our community. And they ask you to join with them to support it as well. Make a gift to 2020 Vision right now through Yom Kippur. They will match it, and our community wins. In your program, you'll find both a list of members already involved and a pledge card for you to show your support as well. Remember, your commitment will have an impact on our congregation for generations to come. Andrew, Larry, and I will be in the foyer after services. Please come see the drawings and ask any questions you may have. We welcome your feedback. On behalf of the 2020 Vision Project Committee, I want to thank you in advance for your support of this exciting and historic endeavor and wish you and your families a HaShanah Tovah.
I would just say, please look at those drawings because Michelle knows what she's doing. They are beautiful, Michelle. Thank you for all the work you've done again.
Shana Tova. I'm Sherry Wiesner, and it is my honor to represent the Board of Trustees this evening. I'd like to welcome all of you to Temple Emanu-El's High Holiday Services. We are delighted to see all of you and to be sharing this High Holy Days observance with you and those live streaming our service as one congregational family. Please take a moment to say hello to the many new friends that are joining us today for the first time here at High Holiday Services. To those of you who are new to our congregation, please take a moment to stop by our membership table, where we have flyers and information on all of our temple programs and activities, including High Holiday events. We want to express our thanks to Yuri Gottfeld and the Brotherhood members and friends for creating the beautiful bima you see before you, and to our many hardworking volunteers and the temple administrative and custodial staffs for their preparations for services this year. We appreciate your flexibility in sharing prayer books. If you are using a temple book, please leave it on the table as you leave the sanctuary. If you brought your own, please be sure to take it with you. Our Rosh HaShanah children's service will begin at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and our congregational service will start at 10 a.m. We look forward to seeing you there. If you have children participating in childcare tomorrow, please note that this program will take place in the Roosevelt Room at 10 a.m. Please join us for Tashlich service and picnic tomorrow, September 30th at 5 o'clock p.m. at Oak Meadow Park. It's in Los Gatos. Bring dinner for yourself and a dessert to share with others. Also, in line with our greening efforts, please bring a pebble instead of breadcrumbs. For details and directions, please pick up a flyer from the Shalom table. During the high holidays, we are collecting non-perishable packaged food for the needy in our community. Please deposit your food donations in one of our collection barrels located in the lobby here or at Temple Emanu-El through Simchat Torah. Please take a piece of honey cake as you leave tonight's service. Shana Tova, and may this year bring you happiness and joy.
I'm fine, Cantor, thank you. But I think we need a little kiddush.
We do.
Yeah, let's continue on page 79 with kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am ורוממנו מכל לשון וקידשנו במצוותיו. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה את יום הזיכרון הזה, יום תרועה מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים, ולברך אמת וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל ויום הזיכרון. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen. We continue with Elena on page 83. Please rise if you are able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד
page 89. The light of life is a finite flame, like a sacred candle. Life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down in gutters. There's an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. As we turn to page 90 and think of all of our loved ones who are not with us physically but are always with us spiritually, I want to just call out in the middle of the Kaddish prayer, you'll see engraved two words that are added, Ul-Ela Mikol. Be aware of those two words as we now recite together our mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba, ve'alma divra chirutei, ve'amlich malachutei, ve'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalav uzman kariv, v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mivorach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'rechu, le'elam ul'ela mikol bichirta v'shirata, tushbechadnata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'elma, v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo Rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'akol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'akol Yisrael, v'akol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen.
Please join us on page 96 for Yigdal. We'll be doing the first, second, and final verses. Yigdal Elohim chai ve'yishtabach, nimtza ve'enet el metziuto, echad ve'nachim ve'yehuda, ve'elam ve'gam etzah ve'achduto. Ein lo demut haguf ve'eno guf, lo na'aroch elav kedushato. Adon v'chodama asher bina, rishon ve'reshit bereshito. Chaye olam nata b'tochenu, baruch adei ad shem tehilato. Chaye olam nata b'tochenu, baruch adei ad shem tehilato.
Page 98. Our God and God of all generations before us, may it be your will in the coming year to grant us a year of abundance and atonement, a year of community and compassion, a year of enlightenment, a year of going up in gladness to the land of Israel, a year of inner strength and well-being, a year of knowledge and learning for its own sake, a year of mitzvot and moments of sweetness, a year of optimism and hope, a year of quiet and tranquility, a year of song and spiritual growth, a year of understanding and unity, a year of wisdom acquired and shared, A year of young and old reaching out to one another. A year of listening to the other. Our God and God of the generations before us, grant us a year of gratitude to you for the most profound of blessings, your gift of life. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, shetchadesh aleinu shana tova u'metuka. Our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year, may it be a sweet year. L'shana tova tikatevu v'techatemu. I think we should sing that.
We should. Shana Tova. See you tomorrow morning.